Hello, Harmony Heroes. Welcome back to the Music in Our Homeschool podcast. I'm your host, Gena Mayo, and today we're continuing our Composer Spotlight series with a very special episode for Black History Month, one that highlights a composer whose music still feels joyful, fresh, and instantly recognizable more than a century later. Today we're talking about Scott Joplin, often called the King of Ragtime. This episode is based on a live music lesson I taught inside my Music in Our Homeschool Plus membership, where we listened, compared styles, talked about rhythm, and even connected Joplin's music to what came next in American musical history. I've adapted it here into a story-driven listening experience that works beautifully for homeschooling families. Whether you're listening together in the car, during morning time, or as part of a short 15-minute music lesson. But if you're interested in checking out the membership, please head over to musicinourhomeschool.com/membership because we do a live music appreciation lesson every single month. If you are a homeschooler looking for ways to easily and affordably include a quality music education in your homeschool, you've come to the right place. This is the Music in Our Homeschool podcast. I'm Gena Mayo, homeschooling mom of 8 and music teacher for over 30 years. To really understand Scott Joplin, we need to start with what came just before his musical style of ragtime. In the late 1800s, one of the most popular musical styles in America was the march. Marches are very steady and predictable. They emphasize a strong downbeat. Beat 1. If you've ever tapped along to a march like Stars and Stripes Forever, John Philip Sousa, you can feel how grounded and regular it is. It's like this. Da 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 da. So it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Or if you're marching, left, right, left, right, left, right. Well, ragtime turned that idea on its head. Instead of emphasizing beat 1, ragtime often emphasizes beat 2, the upbeat. So instead of down, up, you're going up, up. And that rhythmic surprise is called syncopation. Anytime music emphasizes a beat that isn't expected or isn't the regularly emphasized strong beat, we call it syncopated. The rhythmic bounce is what gives ragtime its playful toe-tapping feel. Ragtime grew out of marches, but it added something new and something distinctly American. So let me tell you a little bit about Scott Joplin. He was born on November 24th, 1868 in Texas. He grew up in a musical household. His father played the violin, his mother sang and played the banjo. Music was part of everyday life, but opportunities were limited, especially for African American children in the late 1800s. After his father left the family, Scott's mother worked as a cleaner, and she made sure her son could practice piano in the homes where she worked. A local music teacher noticed Scott's talent and taught him for free, an extraordinary opportunity at that time. Joplin began his career writing marches, but by his mid-20s, he had found his voice in a new style, ragtime piano music. In 1893, he attended the Chicago World's Fair, an enormous international event showcasing new inventions, ideas, and cultural expressions. Ragtime music was everywhere at the fair, and it quickly became a national craze. Later, at the age of 28, Scott Joplin was able to attend college. By the end of his life, he had composed around 50 works, and more than 40 of them were ragtime piano pieces. He also wrote a ragtime ballet and 2 operas, showing that he saw ragtime as a serious, lasting musical style, not just a fleeting entertainment. He died in 1917, just as ragtime was beginning to fade from popularity. In 1899, Scott Joplin published the piece that would make him famous, The Maple Leaf Rag. This wasn't just a hit, it was historic. Maple Leaf Rag became the first piece of sheet music ever to sell over 1 million copies. That's an incredible achievement, especially at a time when music was shared through mostly live performances and printed pages, not through recordings or streaming. Joplin was very clear about how his music should be played. He insisted that ragtime not be played too fast. Even though it's lively and energetic, he meant it to feel steady and controlled, with the syncopation doing the work, not the speed. Because of his mastery of the style and success of his music, Scott Joplin became known as the King of Ragtime. In classic piano ragtime, the left hand plays a steady bass pattern, almost like a march, while the right hand plays a syncopated melody. The combination creates a wonderful tension between structure and playfulness. Some other famous rags that Scott Joplin wrote were The Entertainer, The Pineapple Rag, and Solace. You may recognize The Entertainer. Many people do because of its use in the 1970s film The Sting, which sparked a huge ragtime revival decades after Joplin's death. Scott Joplin didn't just create a popular style, he laid the foundation for what came next. Ragtime directly influenced early jazz music, and many composers later absorbed its rhythms and spirit. Two major figures influenced by ragtime music were Irving Berlin and George Gershwin. Irving Berlin's Alexander's Ragtime Band brought ragtime rhythms into popular song, while Gershwin would later blend classical music, jazz, and American popular styles into works such as Rhapsody in Blue. Ragtime also led to a fascinating piano style called stride piano. Scott Joplin's story is deeply connected to Black History Month, not just because he was a Black composer, but because he shaped American music in such a lasting way. He insisted that his music be taken seriously. He believed ragtime belonged on the concert stage, and he created a uniquely American sound that influenced jazz, Broadway, film music, and popular song. When we hear Scott Joplin today, we're not just enjoying cheerful piano music, we're hearing the roots of so much that came after. If you'd like to listen to some of Scott Joplin's music now, head over to the accompanying blog post that goes with this episode and have some fun listening to Scott Joplin's ragtime music with your kids this week. Thanks for joining me today. It's been a pleasure having you here at the Music in Our Homeschool podcast, and I would love to see you back next week. Please subscribe and follow this podcast and leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Have a wonderful time listening to music in your homeschool this week. Bye.